Hello and welcome, fellow sovereigns. And today I am deciding not to decide, which is quite a difficult thing for a human to do, because all of us humans are story-making beings. We are meaning-making machines. Everything we see, we make a story about it. So I took a little walk today, about half an hour so far, and I did not get lost. No, I got geographically embarrassed. I went down a street over there, thought I could come round to the water here, so I just thought I'd show you the water, and where I'm here now. So I was walking down the street, and there, way ahead of me, was many cars, and one of them was a utility, a tradesman's ute, white one with an image on it. And from a distance I decided that the image was an elephant with his trunk hanging down and a man standing there holding the trunk with his hand on the trunk. I made a story. Then I got closer and discovered my story was wrong. It was actually a concrete mixer and the chute was the trunk, and the man was standing there sort of shoveling the concrete out of the chute. And that's how we are. It's impossible for us, or it's pretty difficult for human beings to see something and not make a story, because the alternative could have been that I just saw a white ute with some black marks on it and left it at that. But no, I had to make a story. I had to make a meaning. I had to decide, is it this or that or what? I couldn't just leave it. And we do that all the time. We see people walking along and we decide that person must be homeless, that person must be really wealthy, that person must be a bit dim, that person must be, I don't know, scholarly or whatever. That she looks like a mum with those 3 kids. They may not be her kids, but we make the story up. And everything we see, we make a story. We decide what it is. And when we decide, if we think about the word decide, we always take sides. So when we take sides, we choose a group. It gives us a tribe. So for example, let's go international. I don't know anyone who's been to the Ukraine. I don't know anyone who's been to Russia. I don't know anyone. I've never met Putin. I've never met Zelensky. And yet we're all deciding. We're taking sides. So I might decide that I like Zelensky. That gives me a tribe. It gives me an identity, because I've got all of these other people, pro-Zelensky people, and I have a group. I have an identity, and I have something, because I'm better than the other ones, the Putin ones, let's say. Or I might choose to be a Putin supporter, and therefore I'm in that group, and we can say we're better than the Zelensky group, or whatever it is. Whether it's, I like Trump, or I like, what's the other guy, Biden, whoever. We love to choose, we love to decide, we love to make a side, because there's several things that all humans want. And one of them is love. And of course, love is one of those ethereal things, in the sense it's got many, many meanings. And so if I want to get love or acceptance or become part of a group, if you like, and get acceptance, and that might be my definition of love, I will protest that I follow their rules, or I agree with them. So that gives me a group, it gives me love, gives me a definition of love. So I go and join a group, and I choose that this black group's better than this white group, and this green group's better than the yellow group, or whatever. So it gives me a sense of love. But what it doesn't give is peace. Because when we decide on this rather than that, and this is better than that, immediately that brings up fear, because when we're competing there's fear, and it brings down peace. So it's a very difficult thing to do, because Anna, my ex-wife, created this little exercise for herself that I adopt sometimes too. So when she's, say, walking around a shopping centre or lots of people, we all find ourselves judging people. Oh, they've got funny shoes, or they've got a nice haircut, or they've got this, or they've got that, and what a nice handbag, and oh God, they talk loud, why don't they shut up? We keep every person that goes past, we can't help but go make some story about them. So it's very difficult to have no story. It's very difficult to go into silence and just have no story. Just go past and see a person and not have story. So what Anna did, she came up with this, she just would walk around going same, 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 in her head, not out loud. And every person she walked past, she'd say same, 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 same to herself. I.e., that person is the same as her. That person is the same as her. Because when we fill the void with something a little more positive or peacemaking, then the unpeace will go away easier. Whereas if we have a void, we do fall into the negative. We fall into the judgment. So saying that everybody is the same, 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 same is a way of undoing the judgment that we just do all the time. And just before I came down to this park, and there's a group of people over there, and I stopped and chatted to them for 15 minutes, and as I walked away I realized I'd made a story, because they became more interesting as I got talking to them. So what I'd done, as I walked down saw them there, I must have made up some story about what they were, or what they were like, or whatever. Were they boring? Were they funny? Were they interesting? Were they whatever? And as I walked away, I came away with a different story, and I realized my perception of them had changed. So for my perception to have changed, there must have been something to change from. And it's not evil, it's not bad, it's not a terrible thing. It's just noticing. It's just noticing that we judge everything and we take sides. And I find as a Kiwi, because we are perceived by a lot of people overseas, when I'm overseas, people say, oh, you're a Kiwi, oh, do you follow the All Blacks? No. And then there's a stunned silence. No, I don't follow. Who do you follow? I don't. So what sport do you follow? I don't. And so I don't follow sport. It's something that happens out there. It's not in my purview, shall we say. And I'm going to cough. My apologies. And a lot of people find it difficult when there's someone before them that hasn't chosen a side. I don't support All Blacks, or who else is there? I don't know, Lions, Springboks, whatever. Or whatever the sport is. That I don't even follow a sport. So that means that I'm not in a tribe. And when people are struggling to connect with someone who does not have an interest in what they have an interest in, what do we do with this person? How do we join with them? And we always try and find points of interest. And when we first meet someone, and perhaps it's going to be one of those sort of, we're thinking it's a date. We're going on a date with somebody, that's the word. Haven't done that for so long, I've forgotten the word. And what do we do when we look for what's similar? Oh, you like that as well? Oh, you do this as well? Oh, yes, I love dogs too, I've got a dog. Oh, you like da-da-da cars. Oh, da-da-da. We look, when we're together, when we meet somebody and on the dating scene, in any situation, but particularly on dating, I suppose, there's a little more tension, if you like. to be right and belong. And so we try and find all of those aspects of our life that are similar to this other person's. And Carolyn Mace talks about, she created the word woundology. So we find ourselves being attracted to people with the same wounds. So if I've been abused by my father, I will possibly find someone who has also been abused by their father, or maybe abused by their mother. Or if was adopted, I will find great solace in finding someone else who's adopted, because we have a similar wounds, as Carolyn would put it. Or if I don't know, if whatever our upbringing is, there's always something we can complain about. So I perceive that I have been treated in a particular, I've been abandoned. Let's say I choose that my upbringing has been, I've not been listened to by my parents. So it's almost under consciousness, it's below consciousness, that I will find someone who also believes they were not listened to. And so we connect on that level. And so the woundology is about unconsciously meeting and joining with people who have the same wound, and thereby we reinforce that it's okay to have it, and that it's okay to, if you like, complain about it. And so we choose sides. We choose people with this wound or that wound, or what other wound there is, and there's many. People with alcoholic parents or whatever, there's a dozen wounds. And so we are always deciding, we're taking a side. And this side is my side, and this is my group, and this is my clan, my tribe, and I feel comfortable because I have found a belonging. Whether it's a sport group or whether it's a group of people who are misaligned in some way, marginalized, as they call it, or are being treated badly, so people who have been treated in a particular way will gather together, and it's almost unconscious. We find ourselves meeting the same, and our same is against that other group of people who are in the same group for them, and so we decide. We take a side. But when we choose a side, immediately that brings up opposition, it brings up judgment, because my side's better than yours. I play chess and you play football, you're both weird, whatever. So we get an unconditional type of love, but we don't get peace, because there's always, when there's judgment, there's no peace. And so when we choose not to decide, is often one of the easiest ways to find peace. However, as A Course in Miracles says, it's both easy and it's difficult. So I see a man over there just walking his dog, and I can, when I'm conscious and deliberate, I can choose not to make a story about him. I can do that. I can choose not to make a story about, even here, I can make a story that this is beautiful. That's judgment. So I can choose just to be here and look at, there's water, and there's grass, and there's trees, and there's clouds, and way in the distance there's some cars going along, and there's a dog there. It's easy in a moment to do that, just to choose not to choose. Just to see what's there without the story. The difficult part is doing it in every single moment. And so I know I'm going to fail today, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to decide in every moment not to decide, not to take a side, not to make a judgment, because my aspiration is peace. And choosing not to decide is one of the greatest ways, one of the simplest ways of bringing peace. So I had one of these talks about 5 days ago talking about the meaning of life, and I was saying that there is no meaning of life, that we get to decide what the meaning of our life is, and that's so I put that up on BitChute, and I got 2 people wanting to decide to take sides. One of them told me I was absolutely wrong and I was stupid. What the hell, da 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 da. And another person had written a book because they had found the meaning of life, and so he wasn't saying I was wrong, but he was saying, here it is, this is the meaning. Whereas I was saying that there is no meaning. We can make it up as we go along, and I can make up the meaning of life, that it's this today and change it tomorrow and change it the next day, whatever. But he was saying it's a fixed thing. I was saying it's whatever the other, it's variable, flexible, mutable. So they needed to take sides. And I asked them if, in choosing to disagree with me, was there a greater sense of peace about that? And I got no answer. And it doesn't matter. But I think it's interesting to ponder the idea that when we make a decision that this side is better than that side, just go into wherever you go, the heart, the gut, wherever peace is. When you choose to decide Zelensky's better than Putin, or being vegetarian's better than the opposite, whatever it is, or I don't know, New Zealand's better than somewhere else, Slovenia, just notice that when we make a decision that this is better than that, does our level of peace go down or up? And for me, it always goes down when I decide. So today I'm choosing not to decide, and I'm going to watch my level of peace and see how it works. It's just observation. None of it's right or wrong. It's just playing with these. Can I be almost inhuman and make no decision? So that is what I wish you. I wish you peace overall. And I wish you fun if you want to try the exercise in choosing not to choose and deciding not to choose. Deciding not to decide. And I bless you and all who sail in her.